What is going to happen to all this debt?
I think it's so really simple, and also if we look at history, so there's a mechanical, there's money. Money is now fiat money, so you can produce money and credit. So naturally, everyone is in a position that they needed more money. Where did they get the money from? If there was limited money, they'd have to get it from someplace else. But what they do is produce money. So central banks produce money. Where does the money come from? You could have it from taxes and take it from somewhere else, but that's difficult because people want to hold on to it and they don't want to give it up. But nobody asks, where do we have enough money? But we need more money. Everybody agrees we need more money to spend. But if there was a limited amount of money, we would say, where do we get it from? And we'd have constraints. But we're not like that. So what happens is naturally you're in the positions that you need more money. And so the central banks print more money. And then through all of this credit, everybody says, we need more money, we got more money. But then we devalue money, it becomes less valuable. And surprise, we get inflation. Okay, shouldn't be a surprise. So when we're looking at the circumstances, we're now in a new era. You know, we wish that there's coordination. We've lived in an era where we were global, and the way resources were allocated was, where was it more cost efficient? So if it was cost efficient here, you'd send the capital, you'd build it there, and that would raise employment and so on. And that's what we've come to believe is a fair system. But that's only because we've gotten used to that. But if you go back and look at history and today, many people would believe that's not a fair system. So here we are in the fragmented world that we're in. And so the resource allocation system is no longer economic. The resource allocation is political and ideological. So when we ask ourselves and we wish for cooperation, it's understandable that we won't get cooperation because there's a risk, there is conflicts. There's an internal conflict of civil war, so how do we redistribute the wealth within our country? So we'll have it within the country. Well, there's a hell of a fight over that, right? And so there's the willingness to fight over that. And then the same is true internationally. So what is, America first, or what is that in terms of that? And so I think we have to understand, we have to keep in mind that when we say we're going to cooperate or should, in a world where self-sufficiency, because we could go to war, becomes important. The efficiencies are no longer the most important things. Survival is the most important thing. The possibility of a war is an important thing. And it changes behaviors in ways that are logical, but maybe undesirable for those of us who are in a perspective that we believe that we should be in this together. And how do we work together? So I think it's all understandable, okay? So that depreciates the value of money. We are going to have more conflict. We're going to have more inflation. Inflation causes domestic political conflict. So it'll be a big issue in the 2022 elections and the 2024 elections. That's just how the machine works. And in the meantime, we have, and the war in the Ukraine and Russia and with China is understandable in terms of a big powers conflicts. And so we see the world, if you read history and you see this happen over and over again, you see the world is now breaking up into sides. It's like there are allied powers and there are axis powers and there are neutral powers. And those ideologies become the dominant consideration. So it's entirely possible, for example, that we could see in China and so on, that it's no longer desirable or politically acceptable to do business in China. It may not be. Now you think about how intertwined the world economy is. 22% of American manufactured goods imports come from China. So not just imagine the implications for inflation and the inefficiencies. That's just mechanistically what's going on. So as a mechanic who is looking at next year and the year after and where we are in that thing, I'm just saying it's undesirable